to Dalton's Movie Reviews. I'm Dalton.
I'm Hunter.
I'm Jesse.
And we just watched The Hobbit, The Desolation of Smaug. And, in a word, dragon boner, but we'll get to that.
I can copyright that.
You copy. So basically, of course, it's about a hobbit and his 13 dwarf friends. And it's the second of the third. And it starts with them going through the woods and running into a bear, who was actually a skin changer. What was his name again, Hunter?
Bjorn.
Bjorn.
Did he... I haven't read the book, so I don't really know anything about Bjorn other than what he did in the movie. I think, Hunter, you said you read the book, didn't you?
A long time ago.
Yeah.
Galaxy far, far away.
I skimmed through it in 5th grade.
Well,
And then told my teacher I read it. Like,
both of you have more experience with the book than I do.
I watched the animated movie.
There you go.
Well, basically, Bjorn is just kind of there for them to begin the movie.
Because I sleep in his house.
Yes, to sleep.
They're on the run. Bilbo spots a bear, and Gandalf tells him, "You better fucking run."
And then Gandalf says, "Oh,
And Hitler? Did you say Hitler?
no."
Gandalf is Hitler.
Gandalf's like, "Well, while you guys
I'm pretty
run,
sure who you just called Hitler played a Jew in X-Men.
what about it?"
Is this 6 degrees of bacon in a furnace in Auschwitz? Is that the game we're
They do
playing?
have furnaces.
Speaking of furnaces, I hear the dwarfs have them too.
That's what I was saying.
Way to bring it back on task. So Bjorn's just kind of there, I guess, for people who read the book, and so they don't complain like they did with Tom Bombadil.
He'll play it. He'll play a role in the next one.
Well, I hope he does.
A pretty big
He
role.
seemed like a cool character.
Yeah, he was a cool dude and turns into a giant fucking bear.
Yeah.
I mean-
he's just as big. He's bigger as a damn man. I mean, what the hell? And he has ponies. Apparently, he has like 9. He has enough ponies for the dwarves, and then he has just one random horse. Like,
Just lends the ponies so they can get closer to their dark woods.
and Gandalf's like, "Bitch, I'm keeping my horse."
And then he loses the horse. Can we address that?
The horse is just gone. Let's. I guess.
Like the next, like Gandalf's like, I must go, and he rides off on his horse, and then you don't
he's just
see
walking.
him.
You know.
Yeah.
Old man with his walking stick.
Combination between Hobbit and Lord of the Rings, Gandalf just kind of hates horses and little things. Like in each movie, it's always just like, "Hey, leave the ponies here. Hey, you're gonna have to get rid of fucking
Leave your
Bill.
comfortable little home
Yeah.
and go on a journey and be miserable."
You guys go to the wood, the spider-infested woods. I'm gonna go talk to
We all know he's just sneaking off and smoking Hobbit weed.
talk to the brown wizard with bird shit in his beard.
And a nest in his hair.
What's his name? Ratzinger or something?
No,
Radagast the Brown.
Radagast.
Although I do have to say, in this time around, Radagast was far less annoying because he was in it a lot less.
Yeah.
He was in it for like 2 scenes.
Yeah.
Right.
But they did keep his bitch and sled, which I really liked from the first movie.
Yeah, but you see it for like the split second.
It's a split second, but they showed it. They were like, "Hey, remember you laughed once." It's like,
In a sense, Radagast is. This is a bad comparison, but he's kind of like Jar Jar Binks in that he's kind of annoying, and then
Yeah.
in the second movie they really downplayed him. Just
Yeah.
like Jar Jar, though he's not nearly that annoying.
although now that you've made that comparison, I hate him.
Ah,
Not entirely, but more.
Going back to that spider-infested woods thing.
Yeah.
Dalton was a
So-
little freaked out.
So they get to
Shut
the
up.
woods.
They get to the woods and they get lost through some bizarre trip. I think Gandalf explained why they'd get lost, but
What was it, over the meadow and through the woods to
So-
grandma's house we go?
No, it's
like
like
we
the,
get captured by spiders.
it was like the air was harder to breathe, and like it would drive them insane. They feel like they've been walking in circles because you can't tell direction.
the woods was New Jersey, basically.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
He would
just
know,
like
I mean.
yeah, I live in Jersey, but just like in Jersey, we used the sun to tell direction, and they couldn't see the sun, so they had no idea where the fuck they
Moral
were
of the
going.
story, cut down the damn tree.
Well, that would be the moral of the story, because eventually the spiders start coming out of the trees. Literally, they came out of the woodwork. And then they just start fucking shit up.
Like, with the webs, I kind of knew they were going to be
Yeah.
spiders. I didn't think they'd, like...
What are you doing, Cat?
Get out of here,
Fucking tripod alone.
Cat rubbing her face on the tripod, like... She can do what she wants,
You
whatever.
little rebel. I like that.
Apparently Bilbo's
No.
a badass and killed a little spider, baby.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Bilbo, like, the best part about that whole thing is when Bilbo loses his shit, and, like, They do it probably twice in the movie, this being the first time, where they show like he's just loving the ring, and it's just like.
See, I don't remember that being an issue. With
It's not an
the
issue.
Hobbit. I don't
They
even
just
remember there being
establish
any
it.
type of. No, I know. I understand why they did it to
Yeah.
connect the films, but like, I think they're probably a little bit overplaying that, and I think
Yeah.
they also did that with Lord of the Rings a little bit too.
A little
I
bit,
thought the whole
yeah.
idea was that Frodo was kind of immune to the ring for the most part, maybe until the end.
Yeah. But like that's why it's only very minorly put in there, but it's definitely in there because like he sees the ring and like it fell, and then he goes to get it, and then it's just like a little spider baby. Granted, when we say little, it's
like
like
his
big as
size.
shit. Like it's his size.
Wasn't it like one
And
of those trapdoor spiders though?
Yeah, and
Yeah,
it looks like
creepy
a
as
larva, and it's creepy. And then he sees that like its little shitty legs are just like skipping
Stepping
by the
on the
ring,
ring,
and
yeah,
like
and he's just, like-
almost going in it, you know, like a virgin, and almost. And then he just like loses it and just hacks the shit out of it.
And
And
I have no sympathy for that spider.
And then he picks it up and he just goes, mine. And then he's done, and he's just like, yeah, cool, alright, it's my fucking ring. And he leaves.
Well, what would you do? Would you sit around and just like be like, "Oh, I killed a spider," or would you be like, "I
But-
got my ring"?
While all that was going on, the badass company of dwarves were fighting spider ass,
Right.
only to be saved by the fucking wood elves.
As much as I hated the spiders and their and the close-up of their faces, which we watched in IMAX 3D, so that didn't help me at all. As
I'm
much
not gonna
as
sleep.
You don't
as-
need the 3D in this movie.
not
No.
really, it's obnoxious.
It's not really even. You could take it off. You could barely tell the difference.
As much as I hated the spider scene where they're close up, it did have like some of my favorite fight scenes in that they just had kind of a dwarf punching a spider.
Oh, when they ripped the leg,
Oh,
man,
yeah.
that was.
Alright.
It felt like we were like eating crabs or something. Like everyone just grabs a crab leg and starts the feast.
For those who haven't seen the movie, like there's a scene where like one of the spiders just like lunges on the guy, so all the dwarves just get a leg and they just rip it apart.
Guess we're having
and
spider
then his
legs for
corpse
dinner.
falls on the body, which I would have shit my pants over.
There's a lot of scenes, like shots in that scene where I would have shit myself.
Yeah.
if it was me.
Then again,
Speaking of shitting yourself, let's talk about the real shit maker here, the dragon.
We're going in chronological order.
Chronological order. I got you.
fuck face, we'll get to that.
Hey, you're
But-
supposed to be leading
but-
the discussion.
But that was
You got
one of the
us off
first.
topic.
That's like the first like big fight scene in the movie, and it showed one of my favorite things about the fight scenes in the movie, and that was it showed that the dwarves really just work together.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're all pretty good fighters, but as a unit, like they
Yeah.
kick ass.
like Spartans.
Because like back to back, like every other time you turn around, one of them's about to get fucked up, and another one's like, nope, gotcha. Like
or like with. Nah, never mind. Chronological.
They do work as a
Barrels.
unit, which is a good thing for that because I don't remember many of their names. It's like Thorin, Baldy, Fatty,
Baldy and Fatty are
Daddy,
the same guy.
Dying.
the fat one with like the huge red beard, who's like really fat. He was awesome.
Yeah.
They really gave him a good
Yeah.
part there.
Well, like before they even get to the woods, like they're running and they're like, "Fatty, you gotta keep up." We don't know his name, and it's just, "Come on, Fatty," and he's like, "Ugh, "I'm fat. I don't know why." And then like he sees what's chasing him,
And then he's just
just
gone.
like, and then he's literally in the front of the pack, just like
You're like,
hauling
what the
ass.
hell?
But,
Which I
like
don't
he
know.
put his weight into it.
Apparently,
Oh,
dwarves don't know how to
Gandalf
open
got
doors, though, so
Yeah.
don't worry about them breaking into your home.
Unless you got a toilet, but anyway. Then they get arrested after the spider scenes by elves,
Yeah, fucking elves.
which is my least favorite part of any Lord of the Rings film is the fucking elves.
But
Fucking
it did
hippies.
introduce the people who don't belong in the film, but I liked in the film, which was Legolas and Theorel, or whatever her fucking name was.
Tariel?
Tariel.
Tariel, or it's some with a T
the
and
captain
ended
of
with
the
a
guard
guard.
that
Tolkien hates pronounceable names.
Yeah, but they show up and they're badass, and that's essentially it. I mean, I don't want to underplay how badass they were,
Right, but
because they were extremely badass.
But you show them right after the fucking dwarves ripping off spider
Yeah.
legs and punching them. It's like, I've already spent on awesome points.
like the difference between the dwarves fighting and the elves fighting, apart from like I don't know, maybe effectiveness, is that like the best comparison I can give is the dwarves are like the classic trilogy of Star Wars, where like when like they're having like the lightsaber fights, they're just like fucking beating each other, and like there's no choreographedness to it. And then the elves are the prequels, where they really were like, let's make it a beautiful art form.
what is that, 2 Star Wars references now?
Yeah, let's just keep the Star Wars references going. Because, I mean, I was thinking about that on the drive home, where, like, you had the Lord of the Rings trilogy, and I was like, sweet, everyone fucking loves this shit.
2 Star Wars trilogies.
And then they went back beforehand, like, we can make another
And it
trilogy.
got really, really hyped, and then people realized, like, wait a minute,
And the
what if they
first
suck?
one wasn't that great. It was okay.
Yeah.
it wasn't.
But it wasn't that
terrible,
great.
though, yeah.
And then the second one was pretty good.
Mhm.
So maybe the third one will be really good.
Well, we know the third one has a giant war going on.
Right.
So.
Yeah. So
Going back to the elves, what the? Here's the elf king who was like trying to, who's trying to like negotiate with Oakenshield about like helping him. How the fuck is he doing that thing with his face where he just like shows a scar? That's
because
weird.
like basically all elves have, especially like higher elves, like obviously he's of a purer bloodline, have some form of magic, like very minorly. That's how she like healed the guy later
They all
on.
have the light of the Eldar.
Yeah. So basically he just uses it to hide and make an illusion on what his face normally looks like.
Because there can't be ugly elves.
Yeah. Well, I mean, he's supposed to be the king.
Well, yeah, he'd be
Right.
scaring his people too. They'd be like, "Oh, what is
Yeah,
that?"
did you fucking see his face? Like, ugh.
I've always wondered what like, how do elf kids like age, and do they ever like look older than like 20? What the hell? Like that's pretty solid, man.
Like,
Do they just come out as 20 though? Like what the fuck?
no, I had this conversation with a friend of mine about Lord of the Rings before, like, I had really watched them all. It's just like, there's no downside to being an elf in Lord of the Rings. Like, they're always, like, the highest class, they're all badass swordsmen and, like, perfect bowmen. And then
smart as
they speak
shit.
fucking Elvish.
And they can
they're
see really
intelligent.
far. They can
They
hear
can see far, they
everything.
can see, like, better at nighttime
They
than
can
most
walk
people.
real light. They
They-
don't need to sleep.
They can hop through trees.
They can live in trees.
They can live in trees.
My
like,
brother always said, he's like, if I was an elf, I would be the biggest pussy. Because, like, you live forever, so why the hell... You can only die in combat, so why would you fight? You'd be like, ah!
I guess the only
I'll take you
downside,
through.
the only downside to being an elf, I guess, is when you get drunk, you can't hear dwarves going into
Yes.
barrels.
Because, like, they all get captured, and Thorin and the king have, like, the king of the elves have, like, this argument where the king's like, there's a jewel in there, and I know you want to go to that mountain. And in there's a jewel, and I want it. And I'll let you go, just give me that shit. And Thorin tells him to go fuck himself in Dwarvish.
Oh, yeah.
I'm allowed
Pretty
to curse in
much.
this.
Go ahead.
Alright, cool.
Are
So,
you kidding me? I think Dalton's dropped that bomb at least
oh yeah,
twice.
that's true. But I probably dropped it way more than that already.
It doesn't matter.
But yeah, so he tells him to go fuck himself, and then he's like, alright, go fuck yourself, and he locks him up. And he does say one of my favorite lines, like we were just talking about how badass elves are, and he was just like, go ahead, lock him away, 100 years is a flash in the pan to elf lives. Or like it's a bat of the eye, or something like that.
Mm.
I was just like,
Yeah, it must be nice, right?
Yeah.
Bilbo will be dead. Well, actually, he has the ring, so he could probably live. Not that he's locked up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then all the other dwarves will be like, I'm older, but I'm still alive. If it was us, we'd be like, fuck,
Yeah.
hungry, tired, old.
But Bilbo wasn't locked up. In fact, he was stealing keys and freeing the
Yeah.
other dwarves.
And like while the dwarves were locked up, one named like Nelly, whatever, he's the attractive one.
Keely?
Yeah, Keely,
Nelly.
or whatever.
Nearly.
Whatever. Like they'll say like he's a bit tall for a dwarf or whatever.
Well, we had to drop the Star Wars.
And then the
reference
Star
there.
Wars
yeah, it's
reference
like
while we were in the
reversed,
theater.
where it's like you're a little short for a stormtrooper, aren't you?
Yeah.
You're a little tall for a dwarf, right?
But like, I mean, as far as I guess the dwarves go, he is like the best looking of the bunch.
He has like no facial hair.
Yeah, because he has like no facial hair. He's just like
Baby
brown,
face.
He doesn't even
brown
have like
locks
a
of
big
baby face.
nose or anything.
Yeah. And so the attractive elf chick who's not supposed to be in the movie starts to like him a little bit, but like nothing said, and he talks about a stone, and so, and
Not
then
getting
Bilbo
stoned.
frees them, and they get tossed in barrels, and they get shit out.
That
of
is
the barrel
actually like one of the greatest scenes.
And it was one of the
Yeah.
scenes that people were like, oh, it's gonna be a shitty scene in the beginning of the movie, and like it was in all the trailers, and then if you listen to a shit ton of reviews, they're like, no, it's a really good
Well,
scene.
it
Like, I will
really
agree.
showed what you were talking about with how they work together.
Right.
The way they were just tossing their weapons around, like, oh, here you go, you need it, and they just kept tossing it on down the line.
Yeah, there's one like they hit one of the orcs who was like above them, and then like the weapon fell down. The one guy caught it, and they just kept tossing it back to the one dude who was gonna need it like 2 seconds later,
Right.
and then he just destroys him.
How one axe is effective for 13 people.
Yeah. And then like they were floating by, and like all the orcs were on the log, so they just hack at it one at a time until it breaks.
I still wonder, like, Does Bilbo have super glue or something built into his fingers? He's just holding onto that barrel through rapids.
Bilbo should have
orcs
died.
and everything.
Yeah, Bilbo should be dead.
I mean, all the orcs that fell died.
Yeah, there's
Apparently.
but he can hold on to a barrel like
Well, he's a
for
hobbit.
everything.
It's the ring. Fuck it. It's the
Yeah,
ring.
it's the ring. Yeah, gives him super strength. Gives him Spidey powers.
Nah, it's got to be the barrel because the barrel helped Fatty get like his best moment in the movie.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
he's
So
like-
fucking Fatty gets thrown out of his barrel.
Pulls a Donkey Kong.
And then he breaks out, and like you can just see, and like he's all barrel with like 2 axes, and just spins in a
Yep.
circle.
Death top up in here.
And before that, he's like falling down. He like falls out of the water and like just starts.
Oh, yeah, he
like,
just-
Donkey Kong.
through a stroke of luck, just killing dwarves.
It's just
You mean
dominoes
orcs?
with barrels.
Orcs. Not
Excuse me,
dwarves.
And then yeah, and that was pretty awesome. And then you see like because Legolas and like the elves are like kind of helping them escape, mostly because they just want to kill the orcs. And then there's a scene like Legolas is about to like get hit in the back with an orc, and I guess like really Legolas should turn around and be like, all right, I got it, like he
Yeah.
did the whole rest of the movie. But in this one scene, he's just like, no, it's gonna get me, I guess. And so one of the dwarves just like throws a sword at it and kills it.
Actually.
Yeah.
And I think that held some importance because Thorin was the one who hated the elves more than the rest of them.
Yeah, and Legolas hated them a lot too.
Yeah,
and,
Thorin
then,
was the
Thorin,
most
yeah.
racist.
and that was when like they started to not hate each other as much. And then I have to say as much.
Foreshadowing, yeah.
Oh, but we missed that Keely, the attractive dwarf, got
yeah.
shot in the knee like a fucking
Being a badass,
Skyrim
though,
adventurer.
he, like, I used to be an adventurer, but then I took an arrow in the knee.
And I mean that has even more reference because he has that little love interest with the elf, and taking an arrow to the knee means getting married, and
Pretty
so he
much.
can't be an adventurer anymore.
Yeah, you know.
Shame, for shame.
For shame.
No, that was probably like the only moment where I actually cringed, not out of fear, but just like ooh, because like he jumped in the barrel and he just like snapped.
Yeah.
off
I love
the
how he
end of the
like gets
process.
shot and he just looks down and he's like, ah! Just falls over.
Yeah, like so
Then-
many movies, like a character will get like beat the shit, and then they won't address that he is probably dying.
Right, like
This-
Boromir took like 3 or 4 arrows.
Yes, this dude gets shot in the knee, and he's like, "Fuck!" and he's like done, and like he's just addressing that it is hurt,
Jumps
And
in the barrel.
sucks.
Arrow snaps off and he's like,
and everyone else is freaking out too. They're like, "Fuck, dude, thanks, but fuck."
I love when they get to like the shoreline and they're helping everyone out and Keely gets out on his own like, oh fuck this, it's just an arrow, like but they had to help out the guy with the fuzzy hat.
Yeah.
That's, I mean, hey, you know.
That's whatever.
Yeah.
But from there, they meet Bard.
Who did not sing any songs, so his
So
name
his
His
is...
name is
It's
invalid.
a misnomer.
And he was, what now? A human?
Yeah,
Yeah, he was
Oh, who gives
the
a fuck about him?
the descendant of the
He's the descendant of the leader of the
Yeah,
town,
Dale.
who,
Yeah.
once upon a time, when Smaug destroyed the fucking town, he fired black arrows, and, like, they change it in the movie from the book, where it's no
Yeah.
longer an archer with shooting arrows or anything.
It was like almost like a turret.
Like a-
yeah, it's like a crossbow turret thing
yeah.
that launches, and they're not even, like, normal arrows with, like, a black head. They're
Right.
just, like, these spear...
Like
looking
spiral
things.
spears, yeah. Like spiral bolts.
Yeah,
The elf arrows were like that too.
yeah.
That was weird.
But, like, the whole legend goes, like, he shot off enough and stayed behind as the city died to break off one of the scales of Smaug, because this was the only way that you could even damage him, because he's so thick and hided. And, like, one of his scales is now missing, and that's the open opportunity, which, if anyone's read the book, they realize that is the open fucking opportunity for his
Oh, yeah.
descendant, who is Bard, who they pay to smuggle them in to
Yep.
Lake Town.
Via barrels that are full of fish.
Via barrels full of fish.
Then into his house with toilet water. All of that soaking into Thiele's wound, by the way. That is
yeah, yeah.
that
There's
was
no
also
such thing as
poison.
infection, you know?
Yeah, they climb through a toilet to get into this dude's house, which is floating on water.
Right.
Hey, they have the technology back then apparently, so good for them.
I mean, I assume dwarves have some sort of hardiness to poison or whatever.
Story of Lake Town. Fuck the government.
Fuck the government. Yeah, and then
That's a good story.
and like while they're trying to get in, like you meet like I don't know the governor's like bitch boy.
Governor Unibrow
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
or whatever.
Like the worm tongue of the Hobbit series.
Except the guy he's fucking taking orders for is like
Instead of giving me
Snidely
orders.
mustache.
Yeah.
He's just a little
But he
shit.
is doing manipulation there too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyone with a black hair and a unibrow does manipulation.
But from there, the hobbits, not the hobbits,
The hobbits
dwarves.
and the dwarves.
The dwarves get pissy and they're like, we
Yeah.
paid you to get us in and to get us weapons. Give us weapons. And he gives them weapons, but
Well,
they're not
shit
like...
weapons.
They're not
They're
traditional
kind,
weapons.
they're kind of shitty, like fisherman tools that could be used as weapons. They look dangerous enough.
It's like zombie apocalypse mode.
yeah,
right
like
now.
zombie weapons.
Like,
then
I
they're
want a
like-
gun. Well, here's your baseball bat with the freaking spike. Deal with it.
And they're like, that shit, let's go break into the armory.
Mm-hmm.
And then they break in and they get caught and then they
Because
It's all
Thiele-
Pippin's fault. It's all Pippin's fault.
Because
it's
fucking
Pippin's fault.
Thiele with his fucked up leg, he was holding all the swords and shit, and Thorin goes, you got it?
I'm
Yeah, I'm good. Don't worry.
False.
And then just 2 seconds later, and then he just looks up and he's like, well, shit, I guess I didn't have it.
Yeah, like, uh-oh.
Mm.
Don't fire me, boss.
And
then-
then he got fired.
And then
and he couldn't go to fucking Erebor with him.
But meanwhile, like, Bard finds out the prophecy because he
Mhm.
heard Thorin's name, and it's like, I remember saying that in a paper once.
And
And
then
like-
he goes like, hey, where's your rug?
Yeah.
Yep. Thorin.
Oh,
just
there's
that
the
thought.
tapestry. Oh, yep, that looks just like him, even though it doesn't.
And then the town's like, dwarves? And then he's like, yeah, we're the dwarves, that's our mountain.
And we'll give you money if you
We'll
let
give you
us-
money, let
They're
us
like,
give
ooh,
us
money,
weapons."
really?
Money,
And
yeah.
Bar's all like, screw the money, they're gonna bring a dragon.
Yeah, he's like, we're all gonna die.
And they're like, who cares? But money!
And they're all like, nah, they're not going to bring a dragon. Yeah, they will. No, they won't. All right, you know what? Shut up, Bard.
Probably more likely,
You're
more
going
likely
to-
they'll bring a dragon than money.
Mayor Greedy Dix was just like, yeah, go ahead, welcome.
Yeah, you know.
I could use more money.
Money, huh? Oh,
It's
it all goes to me.
Because dwarves are known for sharing.
Oh, yeah.
And then they climb their Mount Erebor or whatever.
Well, then they go to Erebor, only they leave behind Fuckface McGee with the arrow in his knee.
And three other
rhyming.
dwarves.
One
And-
got left behind because he was drunk and just woke up. Apparently, no one thought it fitting to wake him.
Yeah.
So-
Drunky
And then
and
Drunky,
Brothery.
And yeah, the brother decided to
Fuckface,
stay
Knee
behind.
Fuckface's brother, and then the
Feely.
guy who like helped him out of the boat.
Helpy.
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 So we got Knee,
Helpy, Drunky,
Knee,
Knee,
brother.
and Knee Brothery.
Drunky,
Feely,
and
Feely,
Helpy.
and I don't know who the last
Keely,
one
Feely,
was.
Touchy, and Lemon.
And so and then as soon as like the boat floats away, they look over at Knee, and they're just like, you don't look good. And he has like no color, and it's just like, I'm dying.
It's like, oh yeah, you are dying, aren't you?
So then they
You
go to
should do-
Bard's house.
Yeah, and then they take him to Bard's house.
And
And
he's like,
Bard's
I've had enough of you, dwarf.
fuck you, dwarves.
And they're like, fuck you.
and like, look at his face, and he goes, no, I can't say no to that face. And then they
That
put him on
baby
his table.
face.
That baby face.
And then they go and get like pig weed or something.
Oh yeah, they steal pig food. That damn fat ass pig was like, hey, no, not
But we're getting ahead of
my
ourselves.
king's foil.
The rest of the dwarves, the ones that matter, and Bilbo, go shipping on. Oh, meanwhile, Gandalf has now found.
Wait, Gandalf's in this movie?
Gandalf was in
Oh
the movie,
yeah.
and Gandalf meets up with Radagast the Brown to establish that the Nazgul have now escaped. Was what that was.
They're gathering.
Yeah.
Sauron's called.
And then, like, they're really just overplaying that Sauron's coming back, which was not in the book.
It wasn't a whole teaser campaign.
And
Yeah, it was-
like you literally see him at the end of the movie.
You see his silhouette.
Yeah.
You see his silhouette, like even with more characteristics to it than like just a silhouette,
And
like
he
the
does
fiery eye. Like,
Then he does some weird, I'm the pupil, and here's my eye, and there's the pupil, and it's me, and it's some weird, like...
It's an
reflection.
eye within an eye within an eye within an eye.
yeah, it was just
And it's
it was
gross and
bullshit.
unnecessary.
But
It's my flaming vagina.
yeah, so
Then as the dwarves are climbing their
They
mountain
go-
and get to the hidden door,
they get to the hidden door and then they cry.
because
They
they
needed
thought
to
the
make it by
last...
the last light.
The last light, and they
of
thought the
Doran's
last light
day,
was
yeah.
sunlight, but guess what? It was the moon and stars. Who could have seen that?
Well, the Hobbit saw it. The title walking character.
He was like, "Hey, everyone's leaving me behind. I guess I'll just chill and sulk." And then I'm like,
And then it's
"Oh,
like, oh wait, Thorin dropped his key. I'll pick it up. Oh no, I almost kicked it off the mountain because
Just in time for Thorin's badass boot to stomp
to
that
stop
shit
it
to
and
the
go,
ground.
fool of a took. Next time, throw yourself down.
it's all Pippin's fault."
Fuck you, Pippin. And Frodo. All hobbits but Sam.
Sam was cool. I didn't mind Mary really.
Mary was okay.
He just had a short arm for stabbing, you know.
Yeah. But regardless, they get in, and then I really like the old dwarf in this too.
Yeah.
Like they always they're like, hey, do you remember this shit? And he's like, yeah. And he was like
He's
the
like,
talker.
Bitch, I'm old.
Oldie.
Oldie. So Oldie, and it helps him in, and he's like, now look, you don't have to go if you don't want to. Because
I wouldn't want to.
I wouldn't want to, but it would mean a lot. And he's like, yeah, Bilbo's like, yeah, I signed up to do this. I'm gonna do it.
He's like, oh, well, good thing
good.
you remembered your contract.
Good. Oh, by the way, don't wake up the dragon. Dragon didn't say fucking anything about a dragon.
Yeah,
Does
then
anyone
Bilbo,
guess
like,
what
starts
Bilbo
to-
does?
Bilbo starts to walk away, and he turns back to like say something, and the old dude's gone. He got the
And-
fuck out of
And
Dodge.
Bilbo, in his ingenious way of not waking the dragon, goes in and goes like, hello, hello,
Anyone home?
hello.
Oh, I guess he's not
I guess
home.
no one's here. I guess I'll just rummage through all this gold. Shing,
Oh,
shing,
wait.
shing, shing.
Oldie, before Bilbo goes in, he's like, you're looking for, what's it called? Like
The
Ark-
Yeah, the Arkenstone.
The Arkenstone. And it's like, what does it look like? It's like, it's a big white gem. What else? Like,
You'll know it
I'm
when
betting
you
there's
see
a
it.
lot more gems
Yeah,
in there.
you'll know it when you see it.
when you see it.
And
so-
I hate that shit.
It's like, and
Thank God it was glowing.
yeah.
Yep.
What if that wasn't the Arkenstone?
No, that wasn't the
What if it
Arkenstone.
was
That's
just
what
like
the
one-
elf guy wanted.
What if it was one of the pissy white ones, like the dull white one that he was
No, you
holding
know
up?
how it is. You go and you're like, oh, a gold coin, is this it? No. A gold coin, is this it? No. There's only islands and islands of freaking treasure everywhere.
Yeah, this place is massive, just catacombs of fucking treasure.
It only looks massive because he's a hobbit.
Oh yeah,
Oh, yeah, that's what it is.
but
No, it's
Maybe
massive.
that's why Smaug looks so damn big.
but then he does stumble upon Smaug, and Smaug's big as shit and terrifying and brilliant, and I loved Smaug.
His voice was definitely well
Fucking
done.
Bilbo thought he was clever by putting on the ring, and then he's just like, no, can smell you, can hear you, I can feel you. You're kind of stupid.
Well, yeah, that was, like the best thing about Smaug was like he's big and he's powerful, and just his voice and the way he talks is just like, you know he's smart.
He
and
ain't
you know
messing
you
around.
should be afraid of him, and then he's just fucking with you.
Yep.
Like he knew where Bilbo was.
Oh, dude.
He wasn't
Freaking great.
surprised. He played with him. He could have killed him at any time. He could have killed the dwarves at any
I
time.
heard Hobbit meat's pretty good. He should have just,
Yeah. But instead he wanted to like bolster himself. He hadn't had company in a while.
Well, Bilbo was just being, his little lapdog. Like, oh, you're so pretty. Oh,
Can
I get you a
drink, Daddy? Being a bitch.
hey, keeps you
If you're in
from
front of a
getting fried
dragon,
on
you
your
have to
butt.
be a bitch to live as long as possible, so I can't fault him for that.
While that's happening, the orcs attack.
Yeah, these
They
orcs
attack
are
Lake
everywhere
Town.
they shouldn't be. Like, for real.
Really?
Yeah, they attack Lake Town
Which is a lame name for a city.
because it's not a city; it's a town.
For a town. You can get out.
All right. Well, now we're back.
So now we're back. I was the only one who left.
We had to stop you.
Oh, okay.
Now we are back.
Okay.
And you can suck dicks.
Okay. I'm just kidding.
Oh wow.
And while the orcs are attacking,
While the orcs
they
are
attack.
attacking the town, they attack and shit gets fucked up and kids
Smell.
scream and I hope they die.
Kids screaming.
And Smaug
then-
then starts to burn all this treasure.
Yeah, Smaug starts to like ignite everything on fire. The dwarves come rushing in. Bilbo tries to rush out. Thorin stops him too. Like,
Yeah, he's like, "Did you bring the stone?" He's like, "What? Oh, yeah, sure I did." And he's like,
he's like,
Bilbo.
Did you see it? What? Dude, there's a fucking Did you see the stone? Yeah. Well, we have
Now
to
it's
go
starting to
find
sound like Harry Potter.
Yeah.
Give me the stone.
And so, like, meanwhile, Legolas and Titterell show up.
Tarek.
Tara, it doesn't matter.
Whatever. The girl who wasn't in any of the books.
Elf lady.
Elf lady shows up and they kill the orcs. Which there's
Not all
really,
of them.
not all of them.
Most of them.
Oh, and then like Legolas is seen riding off into the distance.
He's all like,
chasing
"Come on,
them.
come on," and she's like, I don't know, my dwarf man's in bed, so."
Yeah. So dwarf dude is laying on the table dying, and she comes over, and he finally got a dagger. Remember during the spider fight, he was like, "Toss me a dagger," and she was like, "I'm not giving you a fucking dagger." And then she throws one at an orc, and he grabs that one and stabs another one
Yeah,
and tries
like,
to
oh,
kill
Well,
him.
that's
he
where you gotta
beat
take it for yourself, you know?
Yeah.
I'm glad you caught on that. I forgot about that entirely.
Yeah. And like, so then she rubs pig fuckface food into his knee.
Kingsfoil.
Because that somehow...
Kingsfoil, that's a
Yes.
weed.
Oh, and then he chants. She chants.
Oh yeah, she
like,
chants in
oh,
Elvish, which I'm pretty sure was just her going, "I'm pretty and look at me and I'm happy."
And she
to
starts
do
to
this."
glow, and he's like, dwarf boner, you know?
Yeah, and then like he's just laying there and goes, "I thought you were her, but you can't be her. She's so far away, but do you think she would have loved me? And she's like grabbing his hand.
And then she probably said.
And then it's all like.
And then it cuts
switch.
off.
Yeah, that's all because I guess she said, "Oh fuck no, get off of me."
But
While that's going on,
It's a conflict of
there's
interest.
a
I don't date patience.
that's going. There's a dragon fight or something.
yeah, there's like the dwarves are fighting like the dragon, and it's a whole bunch of shit that wasn't in the book.
That's one of the strongest general sequences of scenes in the movie, though. Is generally the scenes with Smaug and how the dwarves evade him. It's so creative in the way they get around and everything that's going on.
Because like they know their place, like it's underground.
It's definitely evident. They're like, oh, whatever. I'll just jump on all these chains, and I'm not worried about the like 90-foot endless pit of crap.
I really liked how they played with like the fact you get Smaug's attention just by insulting him.
Yeah.
It's like, hey, you're a weak fucking worm. He's like, the fuck I am.
You gotten fat and lazy. Well, you're not very nice.
Well, I could diet. You'll always be ugly.
Well, I mean, he was obviously interested in titles. You know, Bilbo listed off 1,000. Just
Bilbo
I am
has
the
a pretty
barrel
good-
rider and the teller of riddles.
And
The barrel rider was
picker
kind of like
and
a fucked up thing to do, though, because
and the face fucker.
The face fire.
I'll fuck you.
the spider baby killer,
The foot tripper.
the tripper,
The ring bearer.
the ring bear. Ah,
That's a good one.
He didn't
He
use
didn't
that one.
Fuck
no.
no.
Apparently,
He
that's-
used barrel rider instead.
yeah, and that's why Smaug was like, barrel rider.
Oh yeah, and Smaug fucking he touches on the fact that Bilbo has the ring. He's like, you carry something made of gold.
Yeah, they made it so that
It's
Smaug
far
was
more
like tied
powerful.
to Sauron instead of being just like, I love gold.
Yeah. And like I like how that. I mean, I did like that because it was like Smaug's more intelligent, knows like the world and shit that's going on. But at the same time, no, he didn't. Like,
How would he even know? He's been like a fucking asleep
been-
under gold. Which how did
Apparently,
he bury
that's
himself in
comfortable.
gold?
it must have
Trust
taken
me,
a lot
it's-
of work.
I guess he like just made a big pool and dove into a DuckTales style. Just like that works.
I mean, his hide's hard enough to handle it.
I knew
Yeah,
I
it's not
could
like
force
it
a
hurts.
DuckTales joke in there somewhere.
There you go, buddy.
I feel good now.
But anyways, they fuck up Smaug a bit
You forgot
with melted gold.
with the dragon boner.
With the,
Oh, yes.
Oh yeah, like they make him like this giant statue of gold that looks like a dwarf, and he's just like gold and pops
Yeah.
a dragon
And
boner,
then he melts it with his dragon boner.
and then he melts it with his dragon
poking
boner.
it and then just like folds in and it looked kind of shitty.
Hi, cat.
Oh yeah, once melted gold shows up, it's not too bad, but there is a noticeable drop in the quality of the special effects.
You're like, movie's almost over. Better hurry up.
Yeah, like literally, it's like the last 5 to 10 minutes of the movie, but there is a drop in the effects.
I remember when they did put him in the gold, I was thinking like, well, they couldn't have just killed him there, did they? That kind of renders the third movie moot.
I was gonna say if they killed him and
like,
it
what are
wasn't
they going
good
to do
enough
from
kill him,
here?
it was gonna
Yeah.
take me
They're
over.
going to make a fucking orc war again? It's like, you already did that.
And
Well,
like,
it's a good thing you haven't read the books because that's a pretty good prediction.
yeah. And like he comes out of the gold and he like flies out and he shakes it off. And like before that happened, Bilbo's talking and he was like, maybe I'll go pay the people of Lake Town a visit. You seem to like them. Watch as they die. And then he flies out and you can tell that like he was playing with them and this was when he had had enough. And like as he starts flying away, he's just talking to himself and it's just like, I am fire. I am death.
What have we done?
And that line reminded me of Monty Python's Meaning of Life when the Grim Reaper went to kill people.
Well, it's like, literally, like, they pour the gold on him, and then, like, that's, he's not playing around anymore. He goes, you know what, that's fucking it. Everyone you love dies. And then he's just gone. And then,
and Jesse doesn't return. And then he's just gone.
and then he's gone. And then Bill was like, shit. Black screen, wait till the next movie.
It's a weird place to end
You know,
a
I mean,
movie.
it really sucks because they leave us with a cliffhanger, and it's not that Smaug flies out. The cliffhanger is, did the elf ever return her feelings to the little dwarf?
I need to know. She's too attractive to not know.
When the screen turned to black, I half expected to just said, and then they all died.
Smaug will return in the Avengers.
Thanos is going to be riding Smaug, just like Avengers.
Smaug shits out the Balrog at the end of the third movie.
Oh, gee.
Then Gandalf is like,
And he's like,
You shall not
and
pass!
they're all like, Gandalf, where the fuck were you? We've had a whole movie going on.
and, like the last scene of the third movie is just going to be Peter Jackson going, "What? I can do what I want. I'm done.
Creative
There's no
freedom,
more."
baby.
Like,
And then Tolkien rises from the grave and writes another book. And he's
Tolkien
like,
is
"Fuck."
the necromancer.
Tolkien rises up, and then what's his face? MR Martin or whatever.
Yeah.
Just goes, nope, writing off Tolkien. And then he dies. And then everything's complete. Because fucking Boromir goes to Game of Thrones.
There you go.
Oh, yeah.
I only took 3 arrows in the chest. You took an arrow to the knee. I mean, come on.
I failed Boromir. I rose Stark. Winter is coming.
There you go.
Except apparently not on the Lonely Mountain because Smaug burns that shit off.
Smaug is global warming.
He is. He is fire. He is death.
Yes.
He is feminism.
He's feminism. Mega fem.
All in all, I give this movie okay.
Yeah.
It kept me awake at
I wouldn't
like 3 a.m.
No, I'd
so-
say, oh yeah, that's what time it is.
Yeah.
No, it's definitely better than the other 2 movies I reviewed so far,
Which were...
which were
Death Proof.
Death Proof and Be Kind Rewind. Like this movie, I can say you can watch it
Be
for
Kind
other reasons
Rewind
than
had
just
the
for one
greatest
thing.
trailer, and the movie was like absolute shit.
Yeah.
Like the trailer made me want to watch it like 1,000 times, and I watched it and I'm like, this was terrible. And then I watched the trailer again, I'm like, I want to watch that movie, but I know it's terrible.
But what did you think of The Hobbit?
I enjoyed The Hobbit.
What
Even
about,
even
what
with
about
all
the Hobbit
deviations,
Desolation of Smaug?
I enjoyed that even more.
On a
Hey.
scale of a random adjective, how would you describe it?
On 1 to Dragon Boner, where was this movie?
This
for
movie
you?
was a massive dragon boner.
Yes, a big meaty dragon.
I give it 1 Dragon Boner up, the other one kind of at half mass.
But still melting gold.
But still melting gold hot. If you want to put it in normal scale, I'd say I'd give it an 8, 8.5.
I give it 8 dragon boners.
I give it 8 Dragon Boners out of 10. Maybe 1 at half mass. I don't know. 8.25. Fuck it.
Okay.
Why-
Eight,
I'll go
eight, 8 fully grown Dragon Boners and a baby.
And a baby? Is
and
it
a-
the Dragonborn? Is that the baby?
Yeah, baby
Dovahkiin?
Dragonborn.
I stick with just 8.
Just 8.
I'd say it was
You
pretty
just
good. It was definitely better than the first one. It kept me entertained. I laughed quite a bit.
Yeah.
The action scenes were really good.
Oh, definitely.
The changes they made sometimes were annoying, but it did make for a decent movie.
If you didn't read the book, you don't know.
If you didn't read, if you didn't
Yeah,
read the book,
it's
you
just-
don't have to give a
when
shit.
you read the book, a lot of the changes are unnecessary in your eyes.
Yeah.
So you're like, is this really...
I do approve of Hot Elf Chick because I like hot elves.
How could you not?
Yeah, and Legolas was a badass, and that was
She was
cool
still
to
like
see.
the only woman in all of Mirkwood, though. So is she just like giving babies to
Yeah.
the place?
Yeah, it's she's been alive for 600 years.
Did you rate it?
Yeah. Right.
You said 8.
I'll give it like an 8.5. I'll be lenient.
8.5 dragon
Mm.
boners.
I'm definitely excited to see what they do with the third one
Yeah.
because
There's
a lot of
left.
like this one and the third one has a lot of like Tolkien's like unrevealed notes or whatever is like the driving like plot.
Yeah, I mean, because in reality, you can't do 3 movies of The Hobbit. Like, if anything, should have been more than 1 movie in
It was
all of
supposed to be
Tolkien's
2.
writings other than the Silmarillion. It should be The Return of the King. Like, that movie was a little long for one Lord of the Rings movie.